Hey everybody. I am coming to you today for my weekly video. I'm a day late, but I've tried to upload this about 50 times and have wasted countless hours of my life talking to nobody. So, anyway, this week I want to talk about a subject that is very near and dear to my heart. And the reason that it's so near and dear to my heart is because it's something that I myself have done and I myself have been a victim of. Today I want to talk about bullying. And if you're watching this and you're thinking, but I'm an adult, I don't need to hear this message, you're wrong. Because you do. Because the most hurtful bullying that I have endured in my lifetime has been as an adult. So, if you're one of my lifesavers watching, you got a really long version of the message that I'm going to send today, and I could talk about this for hours and hours, but I want to try to condense it as much as I can. So here we go. There are several types of bullying: physical, verbal, social, and cyber. And they're all pretty self-explanatory, but cyberbullying seems to be the most commonly used and also the easiest to do. Why? Why is it the easiest? Because when you say something to somebody and you're sitting behind your phone texting or behind your keyboard typing, you don't have to look in that person's eyes and see how you just made them feel. You don't have to watch the tears streaming down their face that you created. And quite honestly, cyberbullying is very cowardly. I said it. If you're sitting behind your phone or your computer and you're saying things to people that you shouldn't be saying, you're being a coward. I have been bullied my entire life. I have always been the fat girl. Always. Never a day that I haven't been the fat girl. And it shattered me. And the biggest reason it shattered me is because I grew up believing about myself the things that people were saying about me. That I wasn't worthwhile. That I was ugly. That I'm a terrible friend. That I've been called a prude. That I'm fat. That my teeth are disgusting. That I'm disgusting. I grew up believing those things about myself because people said those things to me so often that I didn't know any different. It took a wake-up call for me to realize that those things weren't true. And guess what? I didn't get that wake-up call until I was 30 years old. I'm going to be 32 this year. So let me tell you, let me get really vulnerable with you for a second and tell you. 2.5 years ago, I was at the worst point in my entire life. I've been dealing with infertility for over 3.5 years, 3 years. I was 409 pounds. I wasn't able to have a career outside the home because of fibromyalgia that more people than not don't even believe exists and don't believe me that I'm in that much pain. They just think I'm being lazy. I didn't feel like I had any good friends. I felt alone. I felt like I wasn't worthwhile. I was on a downward spiral. The only consistent in my life has been a man who loves me with every inch of his being. But I feared that that man was going to walk away from me because I wasn't able to give him children. And I convinced myself that he basically was already emotionally invested in somebody else, and how wrong I was. And then I got a call, an email, asking me to come be a part of a training program to become a certified trainer for lifesavers. To be honest with you, at that point in my life, I probably should have rejected that call because I was in no emotional state to be telling anybody else or trying to educate anybody else on anything. I was looking for a way out. And I'll be honest, if the thought of the pain of killing myself wouldn't have been present, I probably wouldn't be here talking to you today. Thank God for that fear. And then I went to my very first Lifesavers retreat as a certified trainer. And I want to tell you, those 2 retreats in November of 2013 saved my life. So if you're watching this and you were there, thank you. Because I wouldn't be here today had I not went to those retreats. Sorry. This is hard. It's hard for me to talk about. Bullying often leads to self-harm. It did for me. And the thing about it is, I regret that self-harm. And the biggest reason that I regret that self-harm is because every time I look at my wrist, or this wrist, or the huge cut on my thigh, that were all a product of me doing that based on being bullied as an adult. Every time I look at those scars, I think about the pain I felt. I think about the person who inevitably led me to the decision to harm myself. And I think about what was said to me every time. Every single time I look down at those scars. And those people don't deserve my attention. They got me. They got the best of me. And I did something that I'll regret for the rest of my life. So let me tell you this. If you're bullying somebody or saying something that you probably shouldn't be saying, do you realize that you could be the reason that they self-harm or take their own life? Do you realize that? Do you? Do you want that blood on your hands for the rest of your life? And I know you're thinking, oh, well, somebody must have extreme emotional turmoil to self-harm or commit suicide simply based on something I say, whatever. It can't just be me. It can just be you. It can just be what you said, because you know what? You're making them people believe what you're saying to them is true. So you're at fault. Congratulations. If you're bullying or self-harming, you could be potentially ending somebody's life. And trust me, regret is nothing fun to live with. So, what do we do? Because I'm not naive enough to believe that anything I do or say is going to completely rid the world of bullying. But I want to tell you that I will fight till I take my very last breath to end it. Or rather, to bring awareness to it and to educate people on how to get through it. Don't do what I did. You want to know why? Because what those people are saying about you isn't true. You are beautiful. You are worthwhile. You are a great person, a great friend. You do matter, and it does get better. Trust me, it gets better. 160 pounds I've lost. Hopefully I never find them again. I'm the happiest I've ever been in both my life and my marriage. Yes, I'm still in pain 24/7. But I can smile through it now. Because I'm worthwhile. I am frickin' fabulous. And so are you. Believe that. If you never believe another thing in your entire life, believe that. You are frickin' fabulous. So what do you do? We should think before we speak. And there's a cool little acronym that goes with that. T, is it true? H, is it helpful? I, is it inspiring? N, is it necessary? K, is it kind? And if what you're about to say to somebody doesn't fit into one or more of those categories, or even all of them, shut your mouth, sit on your hands, and don't say it. Is it necessary? Saying something awful to somebody and otherwise bullying them is never going to be necessary. Because who are you to judge? You weren't put on this earth to judge any other human being or animal, whatever. You weren't put on this earth to judge. And I don't care if you believe in God or not. You are not the judge. You are not the jury. And you are not important enough to be telling anybody that they're not worthwhile. Because you're wrong. So if you are being bullied right now, I want you to reach out to somebody. Don't self-harm. Don't take your life. Don't feel like you're alone, because you're not. And you never will be. For those of you who know me or don't know me, Carissa Bowerman-Boyd on Facebook, feel free to message me and I will help you through this, because I'm proof that it gets better. I'm proof. In conclusion, something I want to do, I don't know if any of you have seen, I know my lifesavers have because I showed it at the retreat. There's a really cool music video by Colby Calais called Try. And the message behind it is that you don't have to try so hard to make people like you, because you're beautiful just the way you are. You're freaking fabulous just the way you are. You don't owe anybody anything. You do not have to try so hard to have people like you. And I'm guilty of it myself. I am. And something she does in that video is she takes off her mask. And what I mean by that, see this mask I put on? See my eyes? See my lips? I put on makeup for this video just to prove a point. And here's my point. I can take off my mask. And guess what? I'm still frickin' fabulous. I am. I'm fabulous. I got zits. I had teeth missing. I am fabulous. So are you. So the last thing I want to say. There's a little song by a guy named Mark Wills, and it's called Don't Laugh at Me. And I want to sing you the verse that means so much to me. Don't laugh at me. Don't call me names. Don't get your pleasure from my pain. In God's eyes, we're all the same. Someday we'll all have perfect wings. Don't laugh at me. Be the change you wish to see. It starts with you. If you have children, or you plan to bring children into this world, and you're sitting there bullying somebody online, you're teaching them that that's okay. And it's not okay. Be the change you wish to see. I love you guys.